With a population of 136 crore, India is set to dislodge China as the world's most popular country. And as the world's most popular country, we are also riddled with a numerous number of environmental issues, of climate issues. Issues such as global warming, such as waste disposal, such as the entire climate change phenomena happening in India does not get as much reporting as it needs. Whenever there is a flood in Kerala, or there is a flood in the entirety of Assam, or just recently what we saw in Uttarakhand, are results of climate change, and we need to stop calling these disasters as natural calamities. These are not natural, these are man-made, and we are responsible for these. So today, let's shift away from political news, from crime news, from legal news, and let's focus on something which affects or will affect each and every being on earth. Let's talk about climate change and let's talk about environmental issues. My name is Ishan Fosdar and you are watching The Upfront. So in this video, I am going to put down or count down environmental issues, climate issues which are being faced by India, and for that matter being faced by the entirety of the world. And then I am going to pose solutions which can be undertaken to counter these issues, and finally we will look forward to what we can do in the future to protect our environment. The first issue and the major issue India is facing is of shortage of water. Talking in terms of number, first of all, out of the 91 reservoirs of fresh water which India has, only 29% are left, and in this matter South India stands at the worst with only 20% of these water reservoirs left. To understand the severity of the water availability, fresh water availability on the planet Earth, it is very effective to go back to our school days, to go back to the EVS chapters which taught us that out of the total water available on Earth, only 2.5% is drinkable. And out of this 2.5% drinkable water, 70% is locked in ice, 30% is underground, and we only have 0.007% which is readily available, totally accessible to us. This 0.007% of the fresh water has to be divided among 7 billion people in the entire of the world, and you will be shocked to know that 1.1 billion people do not have access to clean drinking water, which counts down to 1 in every 6 person. Yes, 1 in every 6 person in the world does not has access to clean drinking water. India is in a very tight spot in this aspect, which 600 million people do not have access to clean drinking water. If we pay attention to the NITI Aayog report, which draws upon from the data of 24 out of the 28 states, this situation, this water crisis situation is only going to get worse. And if we listen to the NITI Aayog, 21 cities have been warned to have depleted or totally exhausted its groundwater level by 2020. This water security issue will then go on to threaten the food security of the country, as 80% of water is used in agriculture. Secondly, we come to deforestation. Now, according to a report published by the American Scientific State, every year 33 million acres of forest are cut down, and timber harvesting in the tropical region contributes to 20% of the man-made greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, and only cutting the trees amounts to 20% of the greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, which can be easily avoided. When talking about India, various studies suggest that since independence, 5.3 million hectares of forests have been cleared in India. This deforestation is mainly on the name of development, industrialization, for urbanization and sorts, and it is an estimated figure that the mangrove forests have become less than half of what they were in the last 20 years. Thirdly, we come to air pollution, and it is a undisputed fact that India is amongst the worst countries in terms of air pollution, with one of the worst air qualities in the entirety of the world. If you don't believe me, I'll talk in numbers. According to the report by the International Energy Agency, that is IEA, by 2040 there are likely to be about 9 lakh premature deaths due to air pollution alone. In addition to this, average life expectancies are set to go down by about 15 months. That is, every man and every woman in India will live for 15 months less just due to air pollution. And let's not forget that India is a home to 11 of the 20 most air polluted cities in the entirety of the world. Fourthly, we come to climate change. In the last 10,000 years, the temperature of the earth had remained constant, but since the pre-industrial 19th century, the temperature of earth has risen by 1 degree. Today we are approaching a rise of 1.5 degree, and we are soon set to reach a 2 degree growth in the global temperature. Now, you would be wondering, right, that what would a 1 degree or 2 degree growth in global temperature do to our climate or do to our environment, or what would be the impact of such a small growth? Let me give you a context and understanding of what such a growth would mean. At 1.5 degrees, the Arctic ice will still be there, but just increase it to 0.5 degree more, just go to 2 degree, and the Arctic will be ice free. There would be no ice in the Arctic during the Arctic summer. This also means that polar bears and all the seals, whales and all the other animals or flora and fauna which live in Arctic will lose their lives and will probably starve to death. At 1.5 degree increase in the global temperature, 4% vertebrates, 6% insects and 8% of plants will go extinct from the earth. Just increase it to 2% and this number will go on to 8% vertebrates, 16% plants and 18% of all insects going extinct, permanently extinct from the floor of the earth. This is the severity of a 0.5 degree increase in global temperatures, and we need to understand it soon enough. To give you further context of India at 2 degree increase in the global temperature, many Indian cities will go waterless. Cities such as Bangalore, Shimla, Chennai, Delhi will have no water, and they will be exposed to severe water as well as food shortage, because remember, agriculture is dependent on water. At the same time, due to global warming and due to the rising sea level, the coastal regions of India will be flooded, and many of the islands are also said to go below water, submerged below water. This global warming also affects global as well as Indian economy, and according to a study by global forecasting firm Oxford Economics, hotter temperature by 2100 could cut India's gross domestic product by 90%. Yes, by 2100, hotter temperatures could cut India's GDP growth by 90%. And if there would have been no global warming in 2019, the GDP of India would have been up by 25%. This is the impact global warming has on world economies, and global warming affects all of us directly and indirectly. As per report, Falodi in Rajasthan in 2016 recorded a temperature of 51 degrees, which is the highest recorded in India. And this is an indication of the increase in the heat wave of the country. In the last 10 to 20 years, the natural calamity numbers have become more and have become frequent, and we are seeing them every day. And we need to remove our blindfolds and see the severity of the climate change and global warming which we are facing, and the natural calamities which are inherently man-made. मोदी जी, क्लाइमेट चेंज असली है, क्लाइमेट चेंज रियल है, ये हम नहीं हैं जो बूढ़े हो रहे हैं तो हमें गर्मी लग रही है. देयर इज अ inherent increase in the global temperature. Finally, we come to the problem of plastics. According to the Energy and Resource Institute India, every day the amount of plastic weight produced by India is equal to the weight of 150 blue whales. the largest animal to exist in the entirety of the world. That is a bizarre amount of plastic which we produce, plastic waste which we produce every day. From this plastic waste, 79% of it is in the landfills, which becomes a part of the environment, which goes into the soil, and 40% of the plastic is used once and then tossed and then put into trash. The demand for plastic in India has risen quite incredibly, and according to the data from Plastis India Foundation, the demand for polymers was expected to go up from 11 million tons in 2012-2013 to about 16.5 million tons in 2016-17. This report also states that India's per capita plastic consumption went up from 4 kg in 2006 to 8 kg, double in 2010. And in 20 kg, this is up to around 27 kg per capita. That is, every person in India, almost every person in India uses 27 kgs of plastic. To understand the damage that this amount of plastic does to our environment, you need to understand that one single bottle of plastic takes 500 or even more than 500 years to decompose. And when this plastic is in the soil, it causes soil erosion, soil pollution. It harms the agriculture, it harms animals, and it harms everyone. And this happens only because of our selfish needs, because of our irresponsibility to carry a paper bag or a jute bag to the market. So those were some of the major environmental problems which India is facing. But then what are the solutions? We can't just go on listing the problems without talking about the solutions, right? Well, ideally, the government is responsible and the government is chosen to find solutions to these problems. But then we need to understand that the solutions given on the part of an individual, on the part of a scientist or a part of a social scientist or an activist, is also a part of the larger change which comes from within the society. The government, the state, is an organ of change, is an organ for change, but then the change from within the society happens much more rapidly and much more effectively. So what are the solutions then? The first solution would be to conserve water. Water conservation is not only a job of the government, it is the job of an individual, and we can practice this in our daily lives. We can close our tap, we can bath from a bucket and not a shower. We can do rainforest harvestation, and there are many ways to harvest rainwater, which ranges from building tanks inside the house or leaving some greenery in the house, planting trees in the house. And by this I come to my second point in my solution, which is planting trees. Now, planting trees can help solve a lot of problems at once. By planting trees, you cool the environment. The trees give out oxygen, take in carbon dioxide, which does a reversal effect to the global greenhouse effect which we are seeing. It rivals the greenhouse effect. It cools down the environment, which we need so graciously right now. Trees also make a soothing atmosphere. It does a calming effect to the society, and studies have proved that planting more trees actually has many psychological benefits on the mind and on the personality of the human beings. The roots of the trees hold the soil together, which does not let the soil wither away, and this prevents soil erosion from rainwater or from floods. And we need to understand that soil, the top layer of our soil, is the most important layer because it is fertile, and it is on the top layer that the farmers grow their crops. Furthermore, more trees improve the quality of the air, which is a direct solution to the increasing air problem which we are seeing right now, air pollution problem which we are seeing right now. Trees purify air and they make the quality of air better. Finally, let's not forget that trees are a habitat to many birds, to many animals, woodpeckers and different sorts of species, and they give a home to these animals, and these homes are getting extinct. Thirdly, the third point in my list of solutions is cleanliness. The more clean we are, the less we are exposed to diseases, the less we are exposed to bacteria. And this coronavirus pandemic has actually taught us that cleanliness can, in essence, defeat the entire world pandemic. Washing your hands for 20 seconds is and was and will be and should be a measure that should be practiced by humans around the world, and not because of coronavirus but on an everyday basis. By keeping our earth clean, by not dumping plastic waste or any kind of waste anywhere, by not urinating in the public, we help keep the environment clean. And when the environment remains clean, it remains less disturbed, and the more we disturb the environment, the more problems we are to face. Fourthly, we come to avoiding wastage. Now this is stemmed from cleanliness. The more clean we are, the less waste we produce. And when we come to food wastage, I explained in this video, in my hunger index video, the impact of food wastage which it has on the hunger index of the world and of India, and what negative impacts food wastage has, and the entire context of how huge and how dumb this problem of food wastage is. So if you want, you can see this video. The link is in the description. Finally, furthermore, we need to understand that wastage of any kind leads to wrong usage of resources, leads to non-judicious use of resources, which is not good for our environment. And so the lesser we do the wastage, the lesser we make our waste, the more we are striving towards a better environment, a better life. Article 21 of the Indian Constitution lays down the right to liberty, the right to life. And the interpretation of Article 21 by the Supreme Court of India has given the right to clean water, to clean air, to clean environment to every human being, and not only in India but in the entirety of the world. We need to understand that just like we crave liberty, just like we have the right to liberty and right to life, we need to give the same liberty and the same space to nature if we want to live a happy life, if the humanity wants to survive in the coming times. If you like the work that we are doing, if you like this video, please do like our YouTube channel, please do like our video, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel, and share this video with your friends and family to let them understand, to let them know the environmental problems, the grave problems of climate change which we are facing right now. Thank you so much.